Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into Fair Play by Eve Rodsky. Published in 2019, Fair Play is an insightful exploration into the disproportionate split of domestic duties along gender lines and how this perpetuates inequality within the household, particularly impacting mothers. Rodsky, a Harvard Law School graduate with a keen legal mind and philanthropic spirit, draws from her expertise to address these systemic issues and to provide actionable solutions for a more equitable division of labor at home. Fair Play not only identifies the problems, but also equips couples with innovative strategies to redistribute household responsibilities, ensuring that women, especially those married to men, receive a more equitable share of the domestic workload. This advocate for social change harnesses her background as an attorney and founder of the Philanthropy Advisory Group to underscore the importance of fairness and balance in personal life as well as the broader society. Listeners who will particularly benefit from this episode include busy working mothers who are on the lookout for systemic solutions to balance their professional and domestic life, fathers who aspire to achieve a healthier work-life equilibrium, and stay-at-home mums who wish to transform their day-to-day lives. Join us as we explore the transformative advice from Fair Play, a book that aims to revolutionize the dynamics of modern family life. Fair Play, a game-changing solution for when you have too much to do and more life to live. Introduction: Bringing balance to the home. Why women need fair play. Imagine a world where the home front is a bastion of equality, a place where the division of labor isn't skewed by gender stereotypes. For many women, this isn't the reality. More often than not, they carry the brunt of household chores and child-rearing duties, while their partners seemingly breeze through without the same level of expectancy or obligation. If this scenario hits close to home, it's time to question why and how this imbalance persists, and what steps can be taken to right the scales. This narrative is not a new one. It's a persistent issue where women, particularly those with male partners, find themselves disproportionately managing the home. Despite significant advancements towards workplace gender equality, domestic life seems to be mired in archaic norms. The question stands: how can women encourage their partners to buckle up and engage equally, transforming the household into a harmonious environment of shared responsibilities? Within this revealing look at domestic dynamics, you'll uncover the reality of the unseen workload that so often falls on women's shoulders. Understand the deep-seated impact that such a skewed division of labor has on mental health and well-being, and recognize the urgent need for women to rekindle and reprioritize their personal ambitions and interests. It's more than just a call for help with housework, it's a campaign for reclaiming autonomy and the clock's precious ticks and tocks, that elusive, finite resource we know as time. Through this exploration, you will learn the extent of hidden labor that's piling on women's plates, how traditional women's work chips away at their mental tranquility and career progression, and the importance of women reasserting their passions and pursuits outside the family sphere. Part 1. Mothers Bear the Brunt: The Unequal Toll of Parenthood on Women. When a couple embarks on the journey of parenthood, they often envision a shared experience filled with joy and teamwork. But for many mothers, reality paints a contrasting picture, one where their roles at home intensify significantly, while their partners' routines appear largely unchanged. This is the story of Eve Rodsky, who, along with countless other mothers, noticed a disheartening shift in workload and responsibility after having children. Before their sons were born, Eve and her husband had an equilibrium in their marriage. Both juggled career ambitions and household tasks with ease. However, as they transitioned into parenthood, Eve unexpectedly found herself juggling more balls than ever before. Sound familiar? If so, you're in the midst of an all-too-common experience that sees mothers taking on not just a first shift, but also a second shift of family caregiving and household organization, chores that arguably demand as much energy and attention as any full-time job. It's this second shift that reinforces stereotypes and creates an imbalance in the domestic sphere. For Eve, it encompassed meal prepping, laundry cycles, and keeping the pantry stocked, chores that seem to eclipse her personal time and professional life. Meanwhile, fathers often stick to their professional obligations without taking on an equivalent share of the household responsibilities. The imbalance extends beyond tangible chores into the realm of emotional labor, the kind that maintains a household's harmony and manages everyone's psychological needs. It's mothers who frequently find themselves orchestrating family connections and cushioning emotional blows, ranging from remembering to send birthday cards to family members to comforting upset children. This relentless emotional investment, while nurturing, exacts a heavy toll on a mother's energy and well-being. Beyond the visible work, mothers grapple with a burdensome mental load, a relentless internal checklist associated with familial obligations. Eve found herself inundated with questions and reminders. Is the kitchen stocked? Is my child's school kit ready? Where are the caregiver's notes? These concerns form a persistent mental backdrop that can lead to anxiety, exhaustion, and absent-mindedness. Yet, despite the relentless pace and sheer volume of their work, many mothers find their efforts go unnoticed. The labor they perform, often dubbed invisible work, includes those tasks that seamlessly keep a household running, like ensuring oral hygiene supplies are in stock or that the children are presentably clothed. Unfortunately, this work often flies under the radar, unacknowledged and underappreciated by their partners. As the narrative unfolds, we'll delve deeper into the tangible and far-reaching implications of this domestic disparity, an issue that may be subtle in its day-to-day unfoldings but is undeniably significant in its impact on mothers across the globe. Part 2. The hidden costs of the second shift for women. The age-old narrative of mother knows best and does best is costing women in more ways than one. Let's take Eve Rodsky, for example. Her life, once balanced and fulfilled, turned into a carousel of endless tasks after she became a mother. Diving into the reality of this change, she uncovered the harsh consequences that the additional burden of a second shift has on mothers everywhere. It's an issue silently eroding the threads of marital happiness, mental health, and economic stability for women. Starting with the heart of the home, the marital relationship, the inequality is apparent. Mothers are industriously tackling both paid work and the bulk of the house chores and child-rearing responsibilities. Resentment bubbles as they watch their efforts rendered invisible, generating a toxic cocktail that often leaves relationships strained and dissatisfaction brewing. Research reinforces this, linking a disproportionate amount of invisible work to dismal levels of marital contentment among women. The second shift doesn't just strain relationships, it's also a volley against mothers' mental well-being. Think of a stress barometer with levels peaking at 8.5 out of 10, as reported by a vast majority of American moms in a survey. It's not just the numbers talking. Studies, such as those in Brain and Behavior, expose that anxiety disorders among women are diagnosed at twice the rate of men's, which hardly comes as a surprise when considering that 4 out of 5 mothers feel too swamped by family needs to tend to their self-care. But the repercussions don't end at the threshold of the mind. They spill over into the professional space as well. The motherhood penalty is an expanding chasm. Not just the persistent wage gap between genders, but more so the divide between mothers and childless women. Companies, still clinging to the model of an ideal worker, often unencumbered by extraneous duties, view mothers through a lens of reduced competence, which systematically blocks them from equal pay, career opportunities, and promotions. The economic hit that comes with motherhood is chillingly termed the mother tax, an income reduction that ranges from 5 to 10% with each child. A stagnant career trajectory for mothers isn't merely a workplace issue, it's a profound financial jeopardy. As women journey into motherhood, they inadvertently gamble with considerable economic risks. The second shift, it seems, delivers an invoice that stretches far beyond the confines of a family's daily routine, demanding a cost that many fail to see or account for. Part 3. Valuing each other's time equally is key to domestic harmony. There's an unsettling imbalance in many households, one that Eve Rodsky experienced firsthand after a long day of work. Upon returning home, she found the garbage her husband Seth had mentioned still awaiting on their lawn. The unspoken expectation that she should handle it highlighted a pervasive issue: the perceived value of men's and women's time. Eve was struck by the realization that Seth likely saw his time as too precious to waste on such menial tasks. Meanwhile, her time was apparently perfect for it. This incident wasn't just about who takes out the trash, but rather a symptom of a deeper societal bias, where men's time is regarded as a rare commodity like diamonds, and women's time is seemingly as abundant and expendable as grains of sand. To uncover whether this toxic mindset is present in your life, engage in a simple exercise with your partner. Weigh the significance of your respective tasks. Does the business call your husband takes hold more weight than your time spent caring for a sick child? Are the hours he spends earning paychecks inherently more valuable than the hours you devote to the unseen work that keeps the household afloat? The equitable stance, unequivocally, is that neither your time nor your partner's is more valuable. They are equally essential. Challenging this imbalance requires addressing the entrenched assumptions that equate time with money. A breadwinning partner may argue that their time carries a premium because of their higher income, ignoring the non-monetary contributions of the other. Eve's husband embodied this view, insisting his working hours were too consequential to be disrupted by familial needs. To forge a path toward fairness, this philosophy must change. Time must be regarded as a universal currency measured in hours, not attached to one's income. With a finite number of hours in a day, both you and your partner share the responsibility of family care equally. It means your partner may need to trim a business call, to attend to a child's doctor visit, a trade-off that doesn't lessen their contribution, but rather acknowledges the equal value and dignity of your role in the home. This shift in perspective is the cornerstone of creating a home environment where tasks are shared fairly, where the invisible workload is acknowledged, and where both partners see their time as equally valuable, much like two diamonds glittering side by side, rather than one overshadowing the other. Part 4. Embracing who you are beyond motherhood. Ellen, once a zealous interior designer who'd painstakingly nurtured her business, found herself at a crossroads when motherhood beckoned. Her husband's encouragement led her down a path where her company, her passion, and ultimately her sense of self were surrendered to the demands of family life. In the whirlwind of motherhood, the vibrant, ambitious individual Ellen once recognized in the mirror faded into the background. The narrative of Ellen is not unique. It is shared by many women who, in the throes of parenting, let go of the very hobbies and interests that once defined them. Eve Rodsky's exploration into the roots of domestic gender inequality unveiled the stories of numerous American women who, swallowed by exhaustion and a misplaced sense of guilt, allowed their personal passions to dim. For many, there's an underlying feeling that prioritizing their interests has become taboo, an unaffordable luxury frowned upon by their spouses or even their inner critic. Giving up personal pursuits means losing a part of one's identity, resulting in mothers who often feel uninteresting, perceived as such by others, and, more devastatingly, by themselves. Ellen felt the sting of this transformation. Social gatherings became a litany of family updates, devoid of the rich conversations sparked by her creative endeavors. Her marriage, too, suffered. Her husband mourned the loss of the dynamic woman he had married, a revelation that ended in his request for divorce. Beyond the need to remain interesting, there's a profound practical reason for mothers to hold tight to their pre-parenthood interests. it can inspire a more equitable partnership at home. One of the key findings from Eve's interviews suggests that men are willing to take on a heavier share of domestic responsibilities if it allows their partners to chase their dreams and indulge in their interests. Men expressed admiration and pride for their partner's achievements and personal passions. The message is clear: to foster a balanced home, where household burdens are shared, mothers must not let go of the activities that once brought them joy and a sense of individuality. To lighten the load on their shoulders, they must give themselves permission to reconnect with the passions that have always been central to who they are. By doing so, they not only nurture their well-being, but also kindle a domestic dynamic where support and fairness prevail, buoyed by mutual respect for each other's aspirations. Part 5. Level the playing field with the fair play method. If you've ever felt like you're juggling an unfair portion of household duties, you're certainly not alone. But how exactly can you and your partner gain a real perspective on who does what in your joint life? Eve Rodsky has crafted a unique solution to this dilemma, a card game titled Fair Play, that invites couples to honestly assess and redistribute household tasks. Imagine the card table is set. You're about to deal 100 cards, symbolizing the myriad of tasks that underpin the essence of your domestic world. These cards fall into 5 distinct categories, reflecting the vast areas of your shared life. The first category, home, includes tasks that keep the house in order. Think daily chores like laundry, trash management, and grocery planning. It's the engine room of your household operation, often bustling and never off duty. Next in line is the out category, with cards for tasks that whisk you out of the house, like shuttling your kids to school and activities or tackling car maintenance. Then there's caregiving, where the traditional tasks such as potty training, dog walking, or assisting with homework fall. These cards represent the care that's often expected but can go unappreciated. The magic category sparkles with tasks that create joy and comfort. It's about the extra touches that make days memorable, whether it's organizing birthdays or comforting a child after a bad dream. Despite the delight these tasks bring, they too often fall into the shadows of invisible work. Finally, the wild category encompasses life's unpredictable moments, from moving house to dealing with loss. These are the exceptional tasks that may occasionally require you to seek partner support, regardless of whose card it is. Here's how you play fair play. Distribute the cards to the person who typically handles the task described. It's a pivotal moment of realization and a doorway to discussion. This isn't just a game. It's a transformative exercise that lays the foundation for reshaped responsibilities and new understandings. Get ready to redefine your household roles as you engage in a session of the fair play game with your partner. It's a valuable first step toward a renewed sense of balance and teamwork in managing the life you share. Part 6. Choosing cards with purpose in fair play. At the very heart of fairness in the household lies the question of value. What tasks truly matter to you and your partner? And so, the moment has come to deal the fair play cards thoughtfully, not arbitrarily. This isn't just a routine deal. It's the critical reshuffling of domestic responsibilities that can make or break the team spirit in your home. Before any card is claimed, remember that default assumptions have no place here. Don't grab a card out of habit or historical patterns. The fact that you've always prepared your child's lunches doesn't mean it should automatically be your card to keep. Likewise, cliched gender roles shouldn't dictate who gets which card. A household maintenance card, for example, doesn't necessarily belong to someone merely because they're a man. The guiding principle in dealing cards is personal significance. If a particular task means the world to you but little to nothing to your partner, then it's a card worth keeping in your hand. But beware of the trap of claiming a card out of a sense of duty or because you think that's what's expected of your family. Consider Sarah's revelation. Children's birthday parties had been a bane rather than a delight for both her and her husband. Neither enjoyed them, nor did their son get much out of these social obligations. It was an unnecessary card in their domestic deck, perpetuated only by a sense of should, not want. After acknowledging that the parties were not a meaningful aspect of their family life, Sarah and her spouse decided to discard this card, except for celebrations involving close kin or friends. The outcome? Their weekends were reclaimed, liberating time for what truly mattered to their family. In your own fair play session, critical evaluations about which cards to remove from the deck can lead to unexpected gains. Remember that less is often more. By weeding out tasks that neither you nor your partner genuinely value, you streamline your collective efforts towards activities that enhance your family life and equally distribute the workload. So take a breath, assess, and deal with intention, for each card represents not just a task, but a fraction of your shared life. Part 7. Achieving Equality Through Complete Task Management. Eve Rodsky's exploration into household dynamics uncovers a common misunderstanding: the belief that doing a task means just the final act, the execution. However, any task is a triathlon of sorts, with the stages of conceiving, planning, and executing, or CPE, working in tandem to get across the finish line. Consider the father who proudly claimed the title of family chef. His confidence wavered when Eve asked about meal planning and shopping, aspects his wife managed. While he excelled at the execution, the stages of conception and planning still lay in his wife's hands, leaving the bulk of the work unnoticed and uncredited. In fair play, one of the golden rules is that the CPE process should remain intact, a single package not to be fragmented. This holistic approach to household tasks prevents imbalance and ensures that the designated cardholder is truly responsible for the task in its entirety. Let's look at a mother, responsible for her daughter Lucy's social engagements, faced with an overlapping commitment. She passed the execution baton to her husband, assuming it would be a straightforward handoff. Due to a lack of detailed coordination, Lucy missed a birthday party, highlighting the pitfalls of CPE division. It turned out that the mother, while managing the conception and planning, failed to relay this crucial intel to her husband, who was left unprepared for the execution segment. The lesson here is clear. Had the mother realized her upcoming schedule clash sooner, she could have reassigned the children's birthday parties card in its entirety to her husband, allowing him the time and information necessary to tackle the whole CPE. This foresight would have spared them all unnecessary stress and disappointment. While it's true that often men aren't intentionally ignoring the unseen labor their partners do, it's equally important to remember that good intentions don't excuse imbalance. Intent is overshadowed by action, and action requires a robust, transparent system that acknowledges and distributes domestic efforts. That's the core of fair play, bringing every drop of invisible labor into the light, ensuring that all tasks are shared and managed equitably. It's not enough to mean well. Couples need to act fairly, with everyone playing their part in the household CPE with clarity and commitment. Final summary. In today's world, women often carry the heavier load when it comes to household duties, and this imbalance has far-reaching effects. It creates stress, affects mental health, strains marriages, and can even hinder career progress. But despair not, for this pattern is breakable. The first step towards a more balanced home life is to fully grasp who's handling which tasks and to what extent. Enter Eve Rodsky's innovative Fair Play card game, a tool designed to help couples strategically reassess and distribute household responsibilities. This game is not a mere pastime, it's a gateway to understanding and action. By assigning tasks through this system, couples can move beyond traditional roles and foster an environment of cooperation and respect. Remember, resilience in the face of domestic imbalances is not about retaliation, it's about communication. When a task falls through the cracks, resist the urge for a vengeful tit-for-tat. Don't let resentment solidify. Instead, Approach the situation with openness. Reconvene, hash out the issues, and reshuffle those cards if needed. With every discussion and deal, you carve a pathway toward a home where everyone plays fair, a home that thrives on equity and communal support. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.